All right. Hello, everyone. I am Chris Boston with the OLCC. Welcome to the third webinar of the day on the rollout of the alcohol licensing portion of the Cannabis and Alcohol Management Program, or CAMP. Just to remind everybody that we are recording this webinar. It will be made available. The recording of this webinar will be made available at a later time once we can get it downloaded and up onto the website, as well as the slides will also be separately available on the website as well. Just to lay some few ground rules for this presentation, everyone is going to be muted with cameras off during the presentation. When we get to the Q&A portion, which we'll dip back and forth from because we might play a few videos in between, then please use, if you have any questions, please use the raise hand function in Teams, and we'll call on you, give you the ability to unmute yourself and ask you. You can unmute yourself and ask your question so we can give the best answer we can at this time, and we'll try to get to everybody's questions. In addition to that, we do have some OLCC staff in the chat, and they will also be helping answer questions throughout this entire presentation to the best of our ability. And I think that is it for the beginning. So I am ready to get started. I'm going to start off by introduce the few people on the call that are here to help with the presentations themselves. And then I'm just going to go very basic present features of CAMP, and then we'll go into the access codes. While this presentation is going to focus a little bit more on special events and your questions pertaining to special event applications, we'll still go over the access code portion that's definitely relevant to how we're launching and getting everybody situated that has an existing license. Then we're going to play one of our prepared tutorial videos and move into Q&A. Throughout Q&A, we will likely play a few other helpful tutorial videos to help answer some questions and break things up. Next slide, please. All right, I will start with myself. I am Chris Boston. I am the Liquor Licensing Assistant Manager. And then as our staff get ready to introduce themselves, the other named parties, Heidi.
My name is Heidi Anderson. I'm the Liquor Licensing Manager.
Hi, I am Susan Redberg, and I am a Liquor Licensing Technician.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andrew Harmon. I'm the Liquor Licensing Technical Assistant.
And as I said in the beginning, there will be additional staff in the chat to help answer questions as well. Next slide. All right, so we're rolling out the alcohol licensing portion of the Cannabis and Alcohol Management Program. It is already live right now for cannabis licensing, and starting next week, it will be live for alcohol licensing as well. It's a one-stop place for managing all of your licensing needs for alcohol licenses. That is applying for new licenses, making changes to new licenses, renewing your licenses, and applying for special events. Also, there are features to allow for authorized representatives, so third-party entities managing those helping manage those annual licenses. They will have functionality in that system as well to facilitate that. And as I said, submitting special event applications, both for annual licensees and for independent parties submitting for their own events. And probably the most important feature overall, the ability to pay for your licenses and your license renewals online. This can be done via credit card or debit card, or an online ACH system that allows you to pay via your checking account, similar to checks if you do not have a credit or debit card available. Next slide. All right, access code. So we are sending out via regular physical mail and email to the primary contact on each annual licensee or annual licensee a letter featuring the access code. It'll be a 9-digit code. You will only be able to use this code on August 12th at 8 a.m. or after that date and time, because before that your access codes will not work, because it has to wait until we are live with the alcohol licensing section. This access code is key into being able to connect the user account that you set up in CAMP to the licensee and the licenses that licensee manages in camp to be able to submit renewals, make changes, all of that. And if you do not have your access code, did not get your access code, you can email the contact information on the slide, the olcc.camp@olcc.oregon.gov email address to request that info. If you have your code now, it won't work until Monday morning after 8 a.m. For special event licensees, if you have an annual license, you'll be setting a code pertaining to that. But if you just have an approved special event coming up and you're not an annual licensee, you won't need, unless you need to make changes to your special event, make some changes to it, we won't be sending out your access code upfront. If you do need to make changes, you can reach out to us and we can provide you access to your special event approved license and get you with the tools that you need in order to make the appropriate changes for you prior to your event. Next slide. All right, so we have updated our OLCC YouTube page with quite a few alcohol licensing camp tutorial videos. We're going to be playing one to start here, and we may play a few others as we go on, but therefore general getting started in camp, submitting your annual license application, 2 videos on submitting your special event application, depending on if it's an application that needs to be associated with an annual license, or for TSLs and exempt events that don't necessarily need to, as well as submitting an amendment to make changes to any license you have issued and renewing your annual license. And we're going to start with playing just the general familiarization one, which is our getting started in camp video here, and then we'll move on to the start the Q&A.
Welcome to the Camp Guide to Getting Started. In this video, we will discuss the steps to create an account, associate an existing license, and navigate around the Camp customer portal. CAMP is the new Cannabis and Alcohol Management Program from the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. This system unifies a large portion of OLCC functions and processes under one platform. This includes marijuana and alcohol licensing, special events, and financial services. Future phases of CAMP will also include service permits and worker permits. CAMP seeks to provide seamless functionality for both the OLCC as well as license and permit holders. To create a CAMP user account, you will need an email account, reliable internet connection, and a web browser. The CAMP portal performs especially well using Google Chrome. CAMP is also well suited for personal devices such as cell phones and tablets. If you are an existing OLCC license holder, you will also need your unique access code that was sent to you by the OLCC. If you cannot locate your access code, please reach out to the OLCC using the contact information at the conclusion of this video. The portal for CAMP can be found at camp.olcc.online. Once there, click the Login/Register button. To sign up for a new account, click Sign Up Now. Enter your email address into the top field and click Send Verification Code. You will promptly receive a verification code in your email. Enter the code into the verification code field, then click Verify Code. Note that the verification code expires after only a few minutes. If this occurs, click Send New Code. Once the email address is verified, complete the remaining fields, agree to the disclaimer, and click Create. The first time you enter the CAMP customer portal, you will see a prompt which allows you to enter an online access code and associate a pre-existing entity. If you have an online access code, enter it in the field and click Associate. Then click Continue. If you do not have an online access code or wish to skip this step, simply click Continue. You have now arrived at the homepage of the customer portal. 2 main options appear on this page. Licensing is the section of CAMP where you can create license applications, amend existing licenses, and submit your renewal. Packaging and labeling is a section of CAMP exclusively for marijuana licensees. If you are a liquor license holder or applicant, click Select under Licensing. Now you are on your licensing dashboard. In the future, you may click Dashboard in the top menu to access this page. The licensing dashboard is where you can see notifications about actions required, access information about current licenses and pending applications, or apply for a new license. The search link opens a search bar that allows you to search and see information about all active licenses. The Contact Us link takes you to an external OLCC page with helpful contact information for camp and various OLCC departments. The Payments tab shows all payment information, including current outstanding fees and recent payment history, with the ability to print payment receipts. The Refund Policy link takes you to an external OLCC page with information about OLCC refund policies regarding various types of licenses and permits. Finally, by clicking the username in the upper right-hand corner, you will see two options. Click Sign Out to exit the system when your session is concluded. By clicking My Profile, you can view important information about your user account. The Details tab shows your name and phone number, which may be edited at any time. The Licensee Authorized Rep tab will show you a list of currently licensed entities associated with your account. Click on an entity name to view expanded information about that entity. The Summary page shows all relevant information associated with that entity, including owners, stakeholders, and other interested parties. Additionally, you can click on the Associated Accounts tab to view other users that have access to this entity, to get an access code to allow others to associate their account with this entity, to generate a new code, or to disable the current access code. Thank you for watching this tutorial on getting started in the Camp Customer Portal. If you have further questions, you may reach out to the OLCC using the displayed contact information.
All right, that concludes the presentation portion of this webinar. I would like to open the floor to any questions. Please use the raise hand function and we can allow you to unmute and ask your question, or put a question in the chat and we'll get you an answer. All right, so I'm not seeing any initial questions. Let's go ahead and we would like to play a video on how to apply for your special event. We have two, one for annual licensees for special event and TUAL applications, and one for TSLs. Does anyone have any preference on which one we would like to show off first? You can write it in the chat. All right, it looks like annual licensees. Yeah.
Welcome to the Camp Guide to Submitting a Special Event Application for Annual Licensees. In this video, we will discuss the steps to submit a special event application on the OLCC Cannabis and Alcohol Management Program, or CAMP. Here is a table of the special event license types that will be covered in this video, along with their corresponding annual license types. In order to apply for one of the special event license types on the left, you must currently possess an approved annual license that corresponds to that special event type. Special events allow for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages for consumption on the licensed premises, and the sale and/or delivery of factory sealed or securely covered containers of alcohol for off-premises consumption. Note that the type of alcohol depends on your annual license, and all activities, including delivery, may only take place on approved special event dates. Begin the application process on the home page in the CAMP Customer Portal. Under Licensing, click Select. Next, under Select an Action, click Apply for a License. On the Apply for a License page, you will find collapsible menus which subdivide the various license, permit, and permission types. Click on Alcohol Special Event Licenses to expand the menu. Once expanded, you will find short descriptions of each license type. Once you find the license that matches your annual license type, click Apply. Now you have opened a license application. Review the Getting Started description and disclaimer to ensure the license matches your business needs. If it does, click I agree. Further down the page, you must first select the event type. Then you must select the primary license that will be associated with your special event. To start, click the plus icon. A new window will appear. Select the appropriate legal entity associated with the primary license, then click Select. Next, select the corresponding annual license from the primary license drop-down menu. Finally, select whether or not this special event application will be overseen by an authorized representative, such as a lawyer or other person outside your business. At the bottom of the page, you can always click the green disk icon to save your current progress, in case you need to step away from the application at any time. To continue, click Next. Now you will find a series of pages specific to your special event license type. For this tutorial, we have chosen a Temporary Use of Annual License, or TUAL. Other license applications will have pages and questions unique to their requirements. The application is divided across multiple pages. Across the top of the page are numbered buttons. Clicking on these buttons is one way to navigate to the other pages of the application. Each button at the top will change to a green checkmark when you have completed that portion of the application. On the initial questions and event info pages, read and respond to all questions using embedded hyperlinks to view any related information. Depending on your answer, some questions will prompt you for more information or require additional documents. On the Documents page, there will be a list of documents related to your application. A required document will have a black checkmark in the left-hand column. A link to download a sample version of that attachment type will be found in the right-hand column. This link may be an example, instructions, or a blank version of that form that can be filled out and uploaded with your application. To upload a document, either drag and drop into the drag and drop area or click the plus icon to select a document from your device. Once you have uploaded a document, select the attachment type from the drop-down menu. Your application cannot be submitted until you have uploaded a document for each required attachment type. Once you have uploaded and labeled all required documents, click Next. After completing all other pages of the application, you will end on the Finish page. Read and affirm the declaration for your application and click Submit. Your application is now submitted. At this point, you will receive a file number that corresponds to your application, and your submission will soon be reviewed by OLCC staff. You can also view your pending application as well as its current status on your dashboard. Click the Licenses tab and scroll down to the Applications section. If you receive a request for more information from our staff, you will be notified via email. The request will also appear under the Actions Required tab of your licensing dashboard. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have further questions, you may reach out to the OLCC using the displayed contact information.
All right. We have a few different questions. I've got some hand raises here. Do want to start with talking a little bit about any changes to documentation per the question in the chat. There have been some updates to what used to be both the operational plan and the plan to manage form. Those have been combined into one type of form called the operational plan. And it is a little different, but it is mostly similar to what you're used to before on terms of the plan to manager operational plan. And it is currently already available on our website under our special events page to take a look at. We've also done some updates to what used to be the identify your license area form is now an event map form. And more importantly, there is a new form for local government endorsement. Since the applications themselves are no longer you apply online and they're not a physical document, we have constructed a separate form to fill out to submit to your local government for their endorsement that you will need to have them render their endorsement back to you so you can submit it as part of your online application. All forms can be filled out digitally. And let's start with Stephanie. Let me give you the ability to unmute. I think you can unmute yourself. Stephanie Johnson, I think you can, you should be able to unmute yourself now. Right. We'll try, we'll see, give them time to figure out if they're having any issues, but let's move on to Lily. Lily has a question.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering what the turnaround time is looking on these applications. I have an event coming up at the end of this month, and I'm wondering, should I go via the current system and try to get it in, or it's kind of falling over that time frame. So I don't want to, have something get hung up in the middle of the transition.
We still recommend giving us at least 2 weeks to process. What date is your event?
It's the first weekend of September.
You should be, if you can get your application in that first week of launch, you should be all right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And on that note, if you have gotten your local government endorsement on our old application forms, you can just still upload those old applications as the local government endorsement document as part of the application.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now we have Debbie with a question. You should be able to unmute.
And just a reminder to unmute, you just click the mic icon in the upper right-hand corner of your Teams screen.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Most of our special events are held in the city of Portland. They have an online system to get their approval, and they issue a document. Does that mean that's no longer valid to submit to the OLCC? Do we need to use the document that you said can be downloaded?
No, we will still accept that in the way endorsement from that the city of Portland currently produces. On the instructions of our endorsement form, you'll notice we have instructions on how we can set the endorsement on that form itself, or how we can accept an alternative endorsement in a written format. And this is what category the city of Portland falls under. So we will accept the document that they provide as the endorsement.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have Migration Brewing has a question.
Thanks. Yeah, that was my question for the most part, was figuring out, just how this is going to coincide with the city's documentation and everything else. So if I go through that process, which, their website is fairly clunky, do I still just use the most recent, which I believe was just this year, TUAL form that I then submit to them to then get their approval, and then that approval is what I submit to you?
From this point on, please use the new form to submit to them, to City of Portland. If they are going to give you back this form signed off on the last page, we can accept that. But if they're going to give you that separate letter detailing their endorsement with the event dates and the event address, all the information they currently provide, you can just upload that letter as part of the online application. You do not need to use any of the old application forms at all. They're now digitized as part of the online application process. I was going
to say, for the city of Portland, you still have to submit the OLCC's 2AL form to get their endorsement. And so it's kind of, go ahead.
You should be able to submit to them this form instead.
All right, awesome. So that's going to be the thing, just streamlining the different forms as this rolls out into for the two different departments.
And I've gone ahead and displayed that this is the special event license you can see up here. This is the new local government recommendation form. So instead of submitting like the old application form as you would have in the past, this is specific to provide to that local government. So we've got instructions here, and then very similar kind of fields, and then they will fill out this section 2, and eventually this lower section as well when they issue a final recommendation. And this is the form that then you can upload in your Documents tab when you are completing your application on CAMP.
Got it. So that's where, so this will just take the place of me submitting that TUAL with the city, and Luann over at the city, I'm sure, knows that this is what they'll see and go through the process. So it's just a different form, the same process with the city.
Different form to submit to them, should be the same process, and then what they give you back, I do not expect that their online system will be filling out this form. They should be giving a written recommendation that they currently make, and that should meet the standards that if Andrew wants to scroll back to page 1, we've detailed the standards of what a written recommendation that is not on this form would look like produced by the local governing body. And in that case, that's what the City of Portland currently produces. So we would accept that letter that you then give to us as part of your online application.
And just to show you real quick, this form is available right here on our special events page. If you go down to the local government recommendation portion, you can see here's this form right here linked.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Of course.
And while you're on that, can you go back, Andrew, can you go to the CAMP page? So that's going to be, the special events page is currently in the process of being updated for CAMP. There has been already some changes, including those forms being available, but most of our new launch resources, instructional resources for CAMP, can all be found in various sections on this CAMP webpage.
Yeah, so here we have links to all these different video tutorials we've been showing. The webinars will be posted here once they're uploaded. There's also a customer portal user guide and various other guidances for all the different steps, and contact information for the CAMP help desk, which will also be on the conclusion of this presentation as well.
All right, looks like we have Macy with a question. You should be able to unmute.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to kind of clarify, is the assumption that the local governments will be kind of adopting this digitized version, or like here in Corvallis, we just walk our TUALs down to the police department to get them signed? So would we still be doing that and then just scanning in that physical document, or will they be having that digitized form sent to them?
You can download and print off our local government recommendation form for special events. You can hand walk that over. That'll be the new form that you'll be submitting to them. And if they're signing off on it and hand it back to you, you're going to then scan and upload it onto as part of your online application on the Documents tab as part of your application.
Awesome, cool, thanks.
Then we have Lily. You should be able to unmute.
Hi, sorry to circle back around. So the local government has already signed off on ours for this upcoming event. Do I just upload the current application with that signature, or do I need to go back to them?
Nope, no need to go back. You can upload on the Documents tab, when it requests your local government recommendation, you can just upload that previous application that's signed off by them as proof of which, and we'll accept it.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, at this time, I'm not seeing any other questions, at least on the list, and there might be some in the chat. I did want to touch on something that came up in our previous webinars, and that was on the authorized reps. This is a function that is related to more so for annual licenses. It allows a separate, a third-party entity that is not owned by or doesn't have that kind of a relationship with the licensee entity. This would be something like a third party, such as like a lawyer or another firm representing them to manage their license. And it can be established at application, but it can also be that relationship can be established outside of it as part of an amendment. However, for special events, while this function is there, I don't expect that this will align, that functionality aligns with a lot of current practice, and that happens with special events, i.e. there are often large-scale events where event planners will submit on behalf of several wineries, several distilleries, a large bulk order of applications at the same time. Camp really wants to promote the function of the licensee having immediate access to control their license, as well as being able to submit the special events on their own, which does limit the ability of there to be someone submitting on their behalf unless they're given an authorized rep status. And if they have an authorized rep status, they're in full control of like the licenses they're attached to, i.e. the ability to make changes or cancel a license, something that business is likely not willing to extend to a third-party event planner just for an SEB. We recommend that instead, that there be a shift in sort of the order of operations for those event planners if they want to assist the wineries and breweries with their application. That's one of the reasons those plan to manage those other forms and other pieces that are separate document uploads as part of the application to work with the licensees on those. But instead of submitting to us, making sure the licensees have what they need to submit for the licensees themselves to submit for their application to us. Where the current system is the structure, the benefits to camp and allow them to manage does end up restricting the ability to of some of the current practices of special events when it's just a paper system and anyone can kind of walk in with one. So for any event planners that are having kind of need to figure out exactly how to prep for an event, be more than willing to reach out to us and we can help work with how to navigate camp and / facilitate what they need with their clients on those aspects. Lily.
I think I already asked all my questions. I think we're good.
Oh, you're just still on there. Sorry. Then I have Patty with a question. Patty, you should be able to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just a quick question for, we're a winery. So for many of the large events like Newport, SIP, all of those, when we are submitting what used to be our SCW, fill it out to them, they have their plan to manage that they send to you, and they do large group SCWs. How does that affect that going forward for large events that occur every year?
You would be submitting your application for yourself for your winery. But the plan to manage, since that is a separate document, it can certainly be prepared by the event organizer, the larger scale event coordinator beforehand and given to you to submit as part of your application.
Okay, so we would be doing all what used to be the SCW, which is now digital, and have their government sign off on it, and the plan to manage all in one package online.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Next, we have Kelly with a question. You should be able to unmute.
Yes, it's kind of a follow-up to that. So if we're the special event person, how, number one, are we the one then getting the local government sign off and the none of the wineries need or breweries or whatever need to worry about that? I'm then sending the sign off to them, I'm assuming. So that's the first question. And then the second question being, how do we know that they have submitted their special event application? Like, if we're the one ultimately responsible for making sure that their licensing is in order when they show up for our event, how can we verify that?
This is a good question. For the first question, yes, you will just be, when you receive back the recommendations from the local governments, you'll be giving them back to the licensees to upload as part of their application. At this time, we should have, and I don't know if they'll be ready exactly for launch, but we will have some external reports that will show approved special events. And we may have something as well external about any sort of pending things, but the licensee will be able to pull it themselves, proof that they've submitted their application. So we'll have something, you should have something available shortly to show approved events. And then for anything that is pending or proof of pending, the licensees will have the ability to view that as part of their access to the online portal.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Or anything in the chat that I can help with? It looks like everyone is being taken care of there. So I'll give a minute or two still for any additional questions people might have, and then we can give everyone their time back if there isn't anything additional to go with.
And of course, I did just want to also point out in this last slide, we've got a few different help resources. So we've got the camp email address here at OLCC, olcc.camp@olcc.oregon.gov. And that's a great way to reach out to us with specific questions about licensing or functionality. If you have any technical issues, there's also the 855 number there. That's the camp help desk number, and they are great at handling technical issues. And they do have Spanish speaking assistance as well. And then that's a link to the website that I showed earlier with all of the various tutorial videos and where the webinars will be and all of that. So, and this presentation will also be made available shortly as well.
All right, barring any other last minute questions, I want to end with a reminder for those annual licensees that your access codes will only be active after 8 a.m. on Monday morning, August the 12th. If you tried them beforehand, it just will not work. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for participating today. It's been great. And I'm glad we're able to present this information, and I'm very excited for all of the functionality that we will soon have and that we've been sorely lacking in this section for quite a long time as we move into the 19th century of administrative work. So, but thank you, everyone, and looks like we can end the webinar.
All right, everyone, thank you very much.